Okay, we're back. That's it for Cheesy. Cheesy did a very nice job. Seriously, I'm seriously very, very proud of this job. And okay, let me just do this back. Okay, I wanted to say something. I talked about how you can adjust your dimensions to and not make changes to just one of the dimension and not all of them. And now I'm going to talk about how you can create dimension, and that dimension will automatically be assigned to a layer. How do you do that? If you're using any software AutoCAD other than 215, like later than 215 rather, any of the software later than 215, you will get this option called dim layer. Yes, with dim layer, you can assign your dimension into a particular layer. So if I activate dim layer and I set it to a particular layer, anytime I'm creating a dimension, any new dimension in AutoCAD, for this particular drawing, it will be assigned to that particular layer that is chosen. Do you understand what I just said? Do you understand what I just said? If you understand, please use the chat box, say yes. If you don't, I can explain again, and this time practically. Okay, Edidion Celestine understands, Fafure John. Okay, Chizzy Amadi understand, Fafure John understand, Edidion Celestine understand, John Paul, no, of course. Let me explain again. Now, let's say we have, where's my cursor? Okay, where's my cursor? Let's say we have these dimensions. Now, they've been created before now, and they were created using the dimension layer. They were created using, okay, let me create this line and create a dimension. Because this one here is selected. If I create this dimension, which I want to create a dimension, you see, because that layer is selected, it allocates this new dimension drawn to a particular layer, which is the part. And that's not what I want. I want anytime a dimension is created, it is allocated to the dimensions layer. And how do I do that? There is something, if you're using any AutoCAD later than AutoCAD 215, that's AutoCAD 2015, there is an option for you to decide where your newly drawn dimensions will be allocated to, or which of the layer your dimensions will be allocated to automatically. How do you do that? Just type dim layer, meaning dimension layer. Okay, enter. Then when you do that, it will ask you to enter new value of dim layer. If you want to use current, you press enter. Using current means that any of your dimension you're trying to create will go into this current layer, which is part. And that's not what I want. I want it to go into dimensions right here. So how do I do that? I just type dimensions in this box as it is being spelled there. And I'll have to confirm if that's how it's being spelled. Okay, can I click that? Yes, I can click it. So you see dimensions. Make sure it's being spelled the way it's spelled here. So it will go directly to that layer. So after that, I just come back and say dimensions. And then okay. So any dimension I create henceforth, it will go directly to that layer. For example, I click on this, I want to dimension this. Let's click on it and I drop. So you see, automatically it selects that layer, not minding my current layer. Do you understand this? John Paul, do you understand this? Please say yes if you understand. Anybody that understands, please say yes, I do. Not yes, I do, please. Yes, I understand. Not really. Wow. Okay. John Paul understands. A Gideon that was understanding it is no longer understanding it. Okay, no problem. I will have to make an undo to that, another undo, another undo, another one, another one, another one. Okay. Now I'll create another line of length 25, and there we have it. So now watch closely, please. I'm creating a dimension using the path layer. Remember, I made an undo, so the dim layer is undone. So now I'm going to do this, and I will create a dimension here. So you notice that this dimension has taken the properties of this path layer. So all the properties of this path layer is being applied to this dimension, and that's not what I want. I want the dimensions to have the properties of the dimension layer as it is here, or as it is right here. So now what do? I come down and I create, I make this command dim layer. And I set it to dimensions. And enter, because dimensions is on, because there's a layer called dimensions. Once I tap enter on my keyboard, it will go through, and then it's what that will do in the future is that any dimension I try to create henceforth, it will direct, it will allocate that dimension to the dimensions layer. Okay, do you understand this, Celestine? Please, if you understand this, say yes, what I just explained. Okay, you do understand. Someone is asking, can't we just select the layer we want to dimensions? So we just highlighting all the dimensions and click dimensions in the. Okay, yes. John, what you're saying is true also. You can do that, but that's a lot of work. Imagine creating dimensions for this object, like let's say 100 of this object, and then after you know your dimension, you come back here to highlight all the dimensions one by one for each of those objects, and then go back to your dimension folder, sorry, your layers, and then click on dimension. After you do it for this part, you come this part, you do it. You come this inside part, you do it. You come here, you do it, and that. That's a big job to do. That's why it's good to do proper drawing management. So, you know, after you set up your dim layer, like I have done, if I just click on this dimension, automatically, if I create any dimension, it goes into that layer without me even coming here to select it. John, do you understand this? If you understand this, please use the chat box. Okay, John understands. Okay. So now let's go. So now I wanted, why I went that far was I wanted to dimension this, and I noticed dim layer was not on here. So I'm just going to dimension it now since I've activated dim layer. So you might want to use that trick whenever you're making your drawings. Dim layer will really help you solve a lot of problems, especially in dimensioning. Okay, so that is it. So I'm going to erase these ones, and I will say I'm well impressed with this job. So I have, and who do I have on this call? I have a Gideon Celestine. Gideon Celestine, I've not seen your submission. John. John. Yes, of course, submission is here. John Paul. Wow, you're welcome, ma. It's been a while. You're welcome. Okay, Omorishola, your drawing is here. Fafure, your drawing is here. Who's drawing? John Paul. Okay, John Paul said he had issues with his laptop, happy. So we're going to talk about that after the class. Now, Omorishola, next. Let's solve our matters. Wow, it's a good drawing.
I responded to when I noticed that you're not
When you're about saying something, please, if you want to say something, I would advise you raise your hand. If you want to say something, I'm really, really confused if you were about to say something. Or you can use the chat box if you want to say something. And I'll respond. Okay? Nobody wants to say something for now. So for Omorishola, this is a very good job. It is a very, very good job. And we have some little things to do here. We need some little bit of breathing space. Yes, we need some little bit of breathing space for you to write. So how do we do that? Start by removing unnecessary text. I think you did something here. You wrote this and then you attached it to this other one. And of course, you see it does not have the properties of this one. So what you can do is you take this text, if you want to make it this way, you take all this text and this one, and which other one, this one, and whatever they are, and take it to dimensions folder. Even in the dimension folder, why are they looking this? Okay, so what again you can do is you can do match properties. Match properties. You select these properties and match it with this one. And it still gives you the same thing. So these two are not working. What do you do now? You delete them and do them the right way. You delete them and make and create them the right way. So we're just going to start from there. Which other one? I noticed there is something here that is not right, so I'll come to that. Let me start from here. This one we have how many? 8. So double click on this text. It will give you an option to write your 8x and a space. Come over and just tap on the next one. And we have 8 also, 8x. The next one, we have 6 of these. So we'll do 6x, the space. And the next one, we have 6 of these also. Omorishola, are you with me? Okay, so we're good with that. There's something here. Okay. Now you need to adjust the way your dimensions are displayed. Omorishola, are you with me? Are you on this call? If you're with me, please use the chat box. I'd like your response. Can they even hear me? This is good. Okay. So you can hear me. So now we're going to do a little bit of, let me see if you have your center line, turn this off. It's clean. The dimensions, turn it off. The drawing is clean. For your dimensioning, they are not right. I think your drawing is clean, but your dimensioning is not right. So we're going to work on that. Not that they're not right. You did it the right way, but then they are just too big. So we're going to move over to dim style. How do we do that? You can come to the annotate tab and then this little button to give you your dimension style manager. So now you use ISO. Let me use standard in this case and set current to check if that will work out a little. Standard is the same thing. So I'm just going to edit the standard. I'm going to modify. So now I'm going to edit some of these things. You want to use overall scale of 1. Overall scale of 1 is just too big for that. So I can decide to ignore every other thing and just change this overall scale, and it will really make a good impact on our drawing. So I'll just change overall scale to 0.2. Enter. And then I click OK. I come here, I set current, standard, set current, I close. 0.2 did not really do a lot of job. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to edit some of those things. Now, check the dimensions. Turn this off. Turn your dimensioning off. And I did not do dim layer now, so I just want to check something. I want to dimension some of these things and know if I know where that problem is coming from. This endpoint, this endpoint, and 1, 2. 0.2 is not really good. And eyes. So I'm going to make it 0.5. Dim style is another way to access your dimension style manager. Modify. Overall scale of 0.5. Close. So 5 also is not so good. Dim style. Okay, this time let's use 0.8. Or even 1. If 1 is right, then I think something is wrong with the drawing. One is right here. Meanwhile, 1 wasn't right before now. So I think there is something here that I don't know, and I will find out now. Let me see, overall scale. Go to your properties. Website 1. Dimension scale 0.5. I think something is wrong with your dimension. So we're going to use this, and I'm going to check the dimension layer, because it cannot be displayed like this if it's 0.5. I think there's an error that needs to be fixed. So let's open it together. Dimensions, there we go. Over line weight 0.5, transparency 45. I don't know where that problem is coming from. So you can take notes. I'm just going to turn this off. Dimensions turn off. And I'll create a new dimension layer. New one and say dim2. Okay, I will just copy some things. This one should be gray. And of course, I'll keep it just like you kept yours. And I'll make this 0.25 yeah, 0.25. And that is it. Transparency, of course, 25, like you did yours. Commercial, I hope you're following. And then I'll just go off. Dim2 is the name. So now I'll assign every new dimension to dim2. How do I do that? I use dim layer command. And make it dim2. Okay, excuse me, please. Let me solve something. I'll be back in a while. Okay, sorry for the break in transmission. Let's get started. So, how was that? Now we're going to do dim layer and assign a layer to dim layer, which is dim2 in this case, right? So what this will do is that it will direct all new dimensions to that layer I just created, which is dim2. So you notice this one was created without directing it to dim2. Now I'm going to create a new dimension. And I'm just going to do this just for reference purpose. So you see what I mean. So you see, it's taking the dim2 properties, like I said. And that is what can be done with your dim layer. So you can decide to do this. And then there's a fillet, there should be a fillet here. Select on this part of it. And drag it like so, the way you want. There's also fillets here. Drag and keep as going. But for this, I use the jog dimension. And you know what the jog dimension is. So just click, select your override location, and select the drop, and then select to drop your jog line. So how much of that to this one? No, I'll do that again. Override location right here. It just be here. Okay, so then I can adjust it as I want. Okay. Actually, we like this. Yes. Okay, so I can keep it this way. And I believe you get the point. I believe you get the point now. So just continue dimensioning of the center line and all that. And this time it will be clear and it won't have much of those extra lines like we had before. Mention that you get me. For the circles, I ran them this way, right? So I'm going to take my first, no, not this one, isn't this one? I'll pick the first one. Pick the second one. And what else? Okay, before I continue, I need to do something like this. Hold down Shift, select this first line, select this second line, and then dimension this part from middle to this end point, and then keep it like so. And what else? I need to get the dimension of this end point from here down to this very end point. I'll drag it like so. This is 0.8, and then the second one is from this point, this midpoint here, this point here. So this end point. I need to correct something which is not right. I need it from this point to this end point. Still not giving me what I want. There's an error there. You might want to correct your error. This should be starting from this point. And still it's not correct. It's supposed to be 5. I don't know why it's like this. Let me check the drawing again. Choosing. Yes, it's supposed to be 5. And it's not 5. I want to check that. Let's see. So it's not up to 5. You might want to check that. Okay, so that's it for dimensioning. Then you can just dimension the rest accordingly. The center line, dimension it this way. There are 3 lines there. So you can pick this one. Pick this way. Pick this one. One good principle when dimensioning you should keep in mind is that whenever you're dimensioning, make sure the details are shown clearly. Like, I cannot dimension this object and keep it like so. It will be crazy because, okay, someone is seeing something, but he doesn't know what that is. So do you understand that part? The fillet, okay, choose a man, fillet, fillet took up some of the lengths. I don't think so. I'm not actually measuring from that length you're talking about. I'm measuring from the center of this. Yes, and that center is supposed to be the center of this. So if this is the center, and from here to this endpoint should be 5, then it should be 5. If the center to this endpoint is 5 from the drawing I gave, it should be 5 everywhere. Because I did the drawing before I did the dimensioning and then submitted it to you guys. Well, it's okay, I understand. What I wanted to text was not if you can get your length or distance is correct. I just wanted to know if you can actually brainstorm to create the shape, because it was really something that will cause you to think. Yes, that's it, not really the figures there. Okay, so far, Omorishola, this is a very good work. I'm super proud of you. I'm happy. Okay, that's it for Omorishola. The next one is Fafure John. Fafure John did a good job, of course. Some people are not on this call anymore. We don't have Celestine on this call, and Oluwatosin is not on this call. It's a pity they have to lose this vital information I'm giving right now. But let's continue. John, this is a good job. But I think there are some things you need to work on. Of course, you must have seen them from my previous explanations, like how to organize the dimensioning and make them look uniform and unique. Yes, there are better ways to do this. If you feel the text are too big, make them smaller. If you feel they are too small, make them bigger to suit your display. Let's say I'm displaying this thing like this. This thing. So control 9 will bring back this thing. Okay. Okay. Let's say it's like this. Keeping it like this, viewing it, you see that it has some things that are really dragging your attention. So you want to look at, let's say you want to pay attention to some of this part. And then some other busy areas like this side right here and this center is dragging your attention. Someone dropped a note. I'm not sure now. Okay. You would have just done it yourself. Maybe it's okay. I will still want to look at your own drawing. I will still want to look at your own drawing. But please next time, don't give it to, yes, don't outsource it. It's for you and you to do, not for some other person to do. So please don't outsource it. In fact, send your drawings to me. I'll review them before I score you or promote you to the next stage. Before I inform the people that are in charge of promoting you to promote you. So you have to hold on a while for your promotion to take place. Wow. Okay. Now, Mr. Fafurejon, are you on this call? Please, if you're on this call, use the chat box. Let me know if you're here so I can say what I'm saying. Mr. Fafurejon. Hello, Mr. Fafurejon. Okay, you're on this call. That's nice. You must have heard what I said. You just need to make some adjustments to your drawings. Like these arrows, I think they are just too much. Copy here and there. Like this one, what does this lead to? Oh, I see. There's something here. A discussing problems. And it's from a dimension style manager. I think I will take one moment to discuss these things. Maybe I will do, no, I will not do a video, I will do a live class and then discuss how to handle all these things from a dimension style manager. It's really important to understand. See, this one is giving you both here and there, which is not supposed to be. It's supposed to just take from this side. Let me see, dimension. Take from this side. It's giving you the diameter here. And that is it. Back to our reference. So I'm just going to copy this. Compare. Okay. John, you have an issue with Dimension Star Manager. Okay, I understand. I'll paste it here. I'm not comparing these two, so please don't get me wrong. I am not comparing these two. If you understand what I just said, I'm not comparing these two. Please use the chat box. I'm not comparing these two. You all got it right, but some people have challenges with dimensioning. John Paul, wow, nice view. Please, can you turn on the camera? Hello, John Paul. Please, can you turn off the camera? Okay, thank you. That was a nice view. Let's continue. We would want to do some of these things. Compare, put them in dimensions. That did not change it. So let me delete this and do theme layer. Now let me try to dimension something. The first one is of diameter. This the diameter is showing something else, so it's from the dimension style. Oh wow, ISO standard. Choose this first of all, and then set current close. Let's try it again. Seen? Mr. John, have you seen what just happened? If you saw this, please use the chat box. It's seen. Okay, so I think you must have, yes. You saw your problem. And that is it. You just have to, even if you had selected standard and it does not turn out fine, you just go to the dimension style manager, theme style, enter, and you edit some of these preferences. Just modify some of these preferences. You see the way this part is showing. You would want to change it. Let's say you had for ISO standard. See ISO standard. See the way it is. And see the way these ones are. And if you modify it, see the difference. Please take notes. Text placement. Okay, this is the fit option. Let's check the arrows and symbols. Arrows and symbols. Enter mark. Arc length symbol. Arc length symbol will be preceding dimension text. And this one is for linear jot dimension. Okay, that one is okay. Arrow size and the arrow type. That's the type of arrows it's using. Then this one is for lines. All these ones are related to the ISO 25. And that's not the one we used here to get these things. So you see the options that you can exchange. You can decide to suppress dimension line or that, or do this or extend this. Just remove it. Those are the extension lines, yeah. I talked about dimensions and dimension style manager in our previous class. You would want to maybe visit that video again. So your symbols and arrows, of course, your text. You want to check textile annotative standard. So you want Annotative and standard. Hope you know the difference between these two. I explained it last time. Annotative will adjust according to your scaling, while standard will be normal, the normal scale. Let's say, let me just close this. I choose standard and set current and close. Okay, setting that as currency, it did some changes here, if you notice. So now, let's say we have this. I'm going to mirror this. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm going to make a dimension here. This dimension is not annotative. Let me see. It's standard here. And then 1:1, so I'll create another standard dimension of 1:1. Okay, so we have that. Now for this one, I want to make some changes. I'll come here and select annotative. No, because the tool was already activated. I come here and select annotative. And then select dimension. I pick, they will ask me to choose the ratio, like the scale ratio. So let me choose 1:100. Okay. Select here. Let's select here. So you see, this one was 1:1, and this one was just normal standard. While this one is annotative, let me zoom all. The dimension there is still the same size, but because I used a scale of 1:100 here, you see the increment. It increased it by 100 times its original size. Do you understand that thing? So now I'm going to take it back to 1:1. So 1:1. You see the changes because it's annotative. If I change the scale, it changes with it. So if I do 2:1, you can see it will reduce with it, and so and so and so. 1:1. Can you see? But this one remains the way it is because this one is not annotative. The annotative dimension will adjust according to the scale chosen. 10:1. Let me make it more obvious. 100:1. Do you understand? Do you understand, please? If you understand, please use the chat box. Say yes. Okay, that is good. I'm glad I can explain this and somebody can understand. Chizamadi, you understand. After John understands. Celestine. Okay, so that is it for this explanation. Let me go back. Where was I? What got me here? Okay, so I was talking about this dimension and the annotative of that. Well, I like that you see the real value, which is 100:1. Sorry, 1:100. So now I'll just take it back to this. And delete it, of course. I don't want you there. Oh my God. Okay, so can you hear me? If you can hear me, please use the chat box. You can see my screen, please use the chat box. Okay, so I will continue sharing my screen in a while. Okay, now that is it. That's it for this was for Fast Region, right? Who else is on this call? Let me see. Okay, we have Fast Region, we have Chiz and Madi and John Paul. John Paul, I've not seen yours. Amorishola, talked about yours, okay. So that's it for the review. Today we should do something. No, not that one. I'm sorry. This is the one I should do this. Today we're going to do something. I'm going to use Mr. Alfred Jones. So let's talk about some of the annotate tools. Yes, we'll talk about dimensioning, types, talk about layers. Let's talk about text. We talked about text the last time. We talked about text then. I think you're ready for tax 4. But for now, let's do a practice. I will grab my practice textbook so we can run one practice from there. Can you see this? Can you see my practice textbook? No, okay. Let me bring it up. Wait, Tina Golom is out of this call. Wow. I just remembered. Attempt this. But it take much more time. So let's attempt something that will cost less time. Can you see this? Can you see this? This is a picture from source card. like I said the last time, SourceCAD is a company online that teaches people CAD. Okay, John Paul. So we're going to practice this. It's quite easy. So I just want to practice this. With this, you have to use the line command, you use the circle tool, you use arrays if you want to, or you can decide to mirror and create one and mirror them. And then what else? Some people will use a rectangle first, and then after the rectangle, they create, they trim off some unnecessary parts and then leave the rest. What I'm trying to say is that whenever you want to start a drawing, you first of all take a look at the drawing and decide where you want to start from. So please give me a moment. Shortly. Okay, we're back. Sorry for that breaking transmission. Now, can you see this on the screen? I have the drawing practice and then AutoCAD in the background. If you can see that, please type sing. You can see that, please type sing. My practice drawing and AutoCAD at the background. If you can see that, please type sing. Okay, one person has seen it. Second person has seen it. Okay, I have only two people on this call with me. Let's get started. Now, when you see a drawing or whatever, you want to know where can I attack this from. Planning is very important. Not that you spend all day planning anyway, but planning is very important. You know, okay, this if you want to use the rectangle pattern, you know, the rectangle we have half of the rectangle is 6 by half of the rectangle is 6 by 6. That means it's actually a square. If half of the rectangle is 6 by 6, that is, if you draw a rectangle of 12 by 12, you've gotten that shape you want to get. So now we'll start from there. Who has this drawing? I don't know. I'm going to start here. Click your first point. You do 12 by 12. Enter. Now you have your rectangle. Having this rectangle, there's another thing you need. In this case, you need circles. And these circles will need to start from the geometry center of your rectangle. How do I do that? I come here. First of all, you need to get the radius of the circle. So what's the radius of the circle? This circle is diameter 10. That means the radius of this circle is equals to, 5, since the diameter is 10. So now I go to AutoCAD, pick center radius, I come here. This indicates the geometry center of this circle. How do I activate that if I'm not seeing it? I come here, I activate geometric center. If I turn it off, you won't see it again on screen. If I hover around, you will see the geometric center. But if I come back and turn it on, and move around the edges, you'll see the geometric center. I click here, and I insert 6 for the radius, or I go back and type D for diameter, and insert 10. So we have that center circle of 10, this one right here. Now the next one is this outer one. This outer one, as you can see, they did not indicate it, but you can get it. You can get the radius. How do you get the radius? You notice this is the center, and they've given you a length that signifies the center point to this end point, to this quadrant here. So with that, you know that the radius of this circle is equal to 7. So you come to AutoCAD, and am I too fast? Do you understand what I'm doing? If you understand, please type understand using the chat section. Okay, Chizamadi understands, of course. I believe Afrojon also understands. So we have this. We've not done housekeeping. So now let's go back to our drawing to view where to do housekeeping. We know we have a fillet here. Another one here. Another one here. Another one here. Sorry, here. So we have 4 fillets. So we can fillet this as a polygon. And the fillet radius is equals to 1. So we go back to AutoCAD. Go back to AutoCAD. And we go to fillet. Right there. And now we need to impute the radius of our fillet. So I type radius, enter, and the radius is 1. So I need it to be polygon. So I type P, enter for polygon. Polyline, sorry, not polygon. Then I select that rectangle or the square. And we have it like so. Now you see we have a nice filleted square and we have 2 circles. Now we need those circles that are somewhere around here and around here and around here and around here. How do I get that? To be quite easy. First of all, let me get the radius. Now the radius of that circle is 1.2. Sorry, the diameter of that circle is 1.2. And of course, you see there 4 times 1.2. How do I get it? I go back to my drawing. As you can see, like so. So if you can see this, I will just go back to this drawing and then look for any of the center of that filleted edge, and I'll start my circle there. The diameter is 1.2, so I'm going to type D for diameter, enter, and then 1.2. So I have it like so. Do you understand? If you understand, please use the chat box. Say yes. John does not understand. Please, John, can you type where you are missing out? Just type, use the chat box. John. Okay, so what I did there was that, okay, let me show you. I'm going to take this out. Let's take this out. Now see, I need to draw a circle there according to the drawing. See this circle? I need to draw it there. And if you notice, the circle is at the center of wherever they created this fillet from. The fillet has a center, yeah? The fillet has a center, and this circle is at the center of that fillet. And the circle is equals to 4. That means we have 4 circles. That's why you see it like this. And sorry, like this. And the diameter of that circle there is 1.2. So how do we do that? We come over here, we select this, or we go to center diameter circle. We move around the edge to get the center of that arc, which is indicated by this cross sign. You click there, type 1.2 for the diameter and enter. And you have it like so. If you understand, please type understood, Mr. Pafure John. Any other person lost, please indicate while I continue. Understood. Okay. So now let's continue. Now for this, I am going to, there are different ways you can do this to duplicate it. Either you copy and paste in any of those centers like this. Let's see this. And C for copy, enter. And maybe you move around here and you place over around here and you place at the center, over around here and you place. Either you do this like so, or you do it a very technical way by using arrays. By using array. In a very technical way by using arrays. So how do you use array to create this? Let me see. Okay, now you highlight the object you want to array. I like using array because it's precise. You highlight the object you want to array. Either you use this one here, polar array, or you type array classic. You type array classic. It brings up this dialog box for you. You've already selected the object you want. In this case, you want polar array, and you want number of items to be 4, and you want it to go across 360 degrees, angle to fill. Now you need to select the center point of that circle to fill, which in this case is this center point. And now you preview. So you see, it gives you this perfect array. And then we're good to go. If you're good to go, you just do a right click to accept the array. And so I've accepted it. And we have this, but it's not complete yet. What is remaining? It's not complete yet. We need to do some homekeeping or housekeeping, and then maybe draw some center lines, and we're good to go. So now, housekeeping time. Of course, housekeeping is to trim off some unwanted parts. I'm going to use the trim tool and do the housekeeping job myself. Okay, so trimming off this part, trimming off this part. Now there's something called fence. So I can tap F for fence and select the fence I don't want. Like so, like so, like so, like so, like so, like so, like so. Okay. Okay, so we have this, enter. See, we have this perfect looking object, and then we just remove this side. And then we're good. Now it's time to add some other elements. So this can move into the geometry objects. Yes, we can move into the objects. And then center line, I'll activate the center line, then go to annotate, select center line, and select the circle to indicate that center line. So we have it like so. Do you understand this? If you understand, please type understood using the chat box. Okay. I haven't understood this. We've come to the end of today's Zoom session. I hope you practice well enough. And if you have any question, yeah, you can simply ask your questions now. If you have any questions, you can simply ask your questions now. Omorishanla, Chizzy, Fafurejon, all of them understood this. Fafurejon, did you type understood? Okay, yes, you did. John Paul. Yes. Source card is there. Of course. I can even drop this. I will drop this textbook on the Slack channel immediately. I'll drop it there on the Slack channel so you can go download and then practice on your own. Let me just drop it now as I'm talking to you. So it's called 60 Practical Drawings. It's called 60 Practical Drawings. So you see it there. It's on the Slack channel. So you will get a lot of drawings from them, and practicing them, of course, it should give you an edge. It should give you an edge, seriously. Because it's when you begin to work with AutoCAD regularly, that's when you become conversant with the software. And then, of course, you can manipulate lines and shapes to get any design you want. Okay? So we've come to the end of today's class. Thank you very much for attending today's class. If you have any questions, of course, you can drop it on the Slack channel. And please make sure you attend early to task giving. Yes, and be a productive and you can help out any other person that is having challenges. So if you have any question or anything, you can raise your hand or something before I hand over to the host. Any questions? Mashallah, you're welcome. Okay, no questions. Host over to me, please. Okay, Chizzy Amadi has a question. Chizzy Amadi has a question. Chizzy, yes, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know I unmuted myself. I don't have any question.
Okay, no problem. Okay, no questions so far. So the host